There are hatreds that do not begin with a great evil. They arise only from the fear of loss, from the smallest jealousy, from a single thought. If I do not strike first, I will be the one who loses. But when resentment is continually nourished, it does not end within one lifetime. It extends across many existences, changing form, changing bodies, yet the suffering remains the same. Today's story is a profound admonition taught by the Buddha in the Dhammapada about the cycle of hatred, about the cost of jealousy, and about a truth that is very simple, yet so often forgotten by human beings. By hatred is never appeased in this world. The Buddha taught this verse of the Dhammapada to a man who was without offspring at a time when he was residing at Jetavana Monastery. There was a man who, after his father's death, single-handedly took upon himself all the responsibilities of the household and the fields, while also caring for his mother. His mother said to him, "My son, I will find you a young wife." The filial son respectfully replied, "Beloved mother, please do not speak so. My only wish is to serve and care for you throughout my life." His mother said, "My son, I do not wish for you to bear alone all the burdens of the household and the fields. Let me find a wife for you." He refused her several times, but in the end remained silent and consented. His mother, overjoyed, left the house, intending to go to another household to seek a daughter-in-law to bring home. He then asked his mother, "Mother, to whose house do you intend to go?" The old woman raised her hand and pointed to that house over there. He did not allow his mother to go to the house she had intended, but instead directed her to another house that he preferred. Thus she went to the house her son favored, chose a bride, and selected an auspicious day for the wedding. Unfortunately, the chosen bride was unable to bear children. Eager to hold a grandchild, the mother hastily said to her son, "My son, you asked me to bring home a wife of your own choosing, but she cannot bear children. A family without offspring will decline. The lineage will come to an end. Please let me find another bride for you." The son appeared displeased and shook his head. "Please, mother, say no more." Yet the mother continued to repeat the same refrain, and it reached the ears of the childless wife. Her heart became filled with turmoil. Surely her husband would have to obey his mother. If the old woman found a woman capable of bearing children, she herself would be despised in her husband's household, treated as a mere servant. It would be better, she thought, if she herself chose a wife for her husband. Thus, the barren woman went to another household to seek a young woman for her husband. But as soon as she spoke, she met with opposition from the girl's parents. They questioned her sharply. "What is it you are saying?" The childless woman replied, "To speak honestly, good sir and madam, I am unfortunate and unable to bear children, and a family without offspring will be cut off. If your daughter comes to my house and bears a son, she will become the mistress who manages the entire estate. I beg you to allow me to take your daughter in marriage for my husband." In the end, the woman succeeded in persuading the girl's parents and brought her home. Although she had accomplished what she intended, the childless woman still felt uneasy, constantly fearing that her rival would bear a child and thus become the mistress of the household. She then went to her rival and said, "Sister, if you ever become pregnant, please let me know." The other woman obediently replied, "Yes," and true to her word, as soon as she conceived, she came to inform the first wife. Each day, the first wife personally cooked porridge for her rival to eat. From that day on, she secretly mixed a small amount of abortifacient medicine into the porridge. As a result, her rival miscarried the second time. The younger wife again informed the first wife. When she became pregnant, the first wife did as before, and once again, the younger wife suffered a miscarriage. Seeing how naive the younger wife was, the neighboring women felt both pity and curiosity and asked her, "Is it true that your rival has been sabotaging you?" When they heard the whole story, they said, "Foolish woman, how could you be so careless? She fears that you will gain ascendancy in the household, so she mixes abortifacient medicine into your food. Next time, do not tell her anything. Do you hear?" The third time, the younger wife said nothing. But when the childless woman saw that her rival's belly was growing larger day by day, she asked, "Why did you become pregnant and not tell me?" The younger wife, speaking honestly as she thought, replied, "It was you who brought me into this household. Yet twice already you have caused me to lose my child. Why should I tell you again?" The childless woman fell into despair. "It is ruined. This time I have lost." From that moment on, she kept watch, waiting for an opportunity to strike again when her rival became careless, for she was still unwilling to accept defeat. When the child in the mother's womb had already taken form, the first wife found an occasion to mix medicine into the younger wife's food. But because the fetus was already fully formed, it was not destroyed. Instead, it became lodged across the cervix. Immediately thereafter, the mother was seized by excruciating pain and felt that death was at hand. She cried out in terror, "You are killing me. You were the one who brought me here, and you are the one who killed my 3 children. Now, I am about to die in my next existence. I will become a yaka and devour your children." After uttering the curse, she passed away and was reborn in that very household as a cat. As for the husband, he seized the childless wife and shouted angrily, "It is you who have destroyed my family." He then beat her mercilessly with his elbows and knees. After the beating, the first wife fell gravely ill and died, and was also reborn in that same household as a hen. Thus, the later wife was reborn as a cat, and the first wife as a hen. Whenever the hen laid eggs, the cat came and ate them all. After this happened 3 times, the hen cried out, "3 times you have eaten my eggs. Now you even lie in wait to devour me. In my next existence, I will eat you and your offspring." Having uttered this curse, she died and was reborn as a female leopard. The cat was reborn as a female deer. 3 times the doe gave birth, and 3 times the leopard came and devoured the young alive. As she was about to die, the doe again uttered a curse. 3 times this vicious beast has swallowed my offspring alive, and now it intends to devour me as well. In my next existence, I will devour it and its offspring. After that, the doe was reborn as a yaka, and the leopard died and was reborn as a noble maiden in Savati. When she grew up, the young woman married and lived in her husband's household in a small quarter near the city gate. After some time, she gave birth to a child. The yaka transformed herself into a close friend and went to visit the young woman, asking the people of the household, "Where is my friend?" They replied, "She is in the inner chamber. She has just given birth to a baby." Hiyaka asked eagerly, "Was it a son or a daughter? I wish to visit her." Then she hurried inside, pretended to admire the infant, swiftly seized it, devoured it, and came back out the second time as well. The yaka likewise swallowed the child of the young wife alive. When the 3rd pregnancy came, and her belly had grown large, the young wife whispered to her husband, "My dear, here there is a yaka who has devoured 2 of our children and escaped. This time, I intend to return to my parents' home to give birth." At that time, it was the yaka's turn to draw water. The yakas take turns drawing water from Lake Anotata and pouring it into the streams. After completing a term of 4 or 5 months, they are released, if they do not perish from exhaustion. As soon as she was released, the yaka immediately ran to the house and asked the people there, "Where is my friend?" The household replied, "You have not met her. A yaka has eaten the children she gave birth to in this house. Therefore, she has returned to her parents' home." The Yaka muttered, "Even if she were to flee to the heavens, she would not escape my grasp." Burning with hatred, the Yaka hastened straight into the city. On the day of the naming ceremony, the mother bathed the child, bestowed a name upon him, and then said to her husband, "Husband, now let us return home." The wife carried the baby and walked beside her husband as they were passing along the road that crossed the monastery. When they reached the monastery's bathing pond, the young wife handed the child to her husband and descended into the pond to bathe. When she had finished bathing, it was the husband's turn. She sat nearby, nursing the child. At that moment, the Yaka appeared. The wife recognized her at once and cried out, "Husband, come here quickly. The Yaka is here." Fearing that her husband would not arrive in time, she turned and ran straight into the monastery. At that time, the blessed teacher was expounding the Dhamma in the midst of the assembly. The young wife placed the child at the feet of the Buddha and said, "I offer this child to you. Venerable Sir, please save him." The Yaka pursued her to that place. The Devasumana, who was then dwelling in the recess above the monastery gate, stopped the Yaka and would not allow her to enter. The blessed teacher said to the Venerable Ananda, "Ananda, go and call the Yaka to come in here." The elder obeyed the command. When the wife saw the Yaka, she was terrified and cried out loudly, "That is she, Blessed One." He blessed teacher instructed, "Let her enter. Do not make a disturbance." The Yaka entered and stood before the Buddha. The Buddha asked, "Why do you act in this way? Had you not encountered a Buddha such as I, you would have clung to hatred for 1,000 lifetimes, like the snake and the mongoose, trembling in rage, like the crow and the owl. Why do you repay hatred with hatred? Only loving kindness can extinguish hatred." And the Buddha recited the verse from the Dhammapada, "By hatred, hatred is never appeased in this world. By non-hatred alone is hatred appeased. This is an eternal law." Upon hearing the verse, the Yaka immediately attained the fruit of stream entry. The Buddha then told the woman to hand the child to the Yaka. The woman was still afraid and did not dare to do so. But after the Buddha assured her that there was no need to fear, she dared to hand the child over. The Yaka received the child in her arms, embraced and kissed him tenderly, then returned him to his mother and began to weep. When the Buddha asked her why she was crying, the Yaka replied, "Venerable Sir, in the past, I struggled with all my might and still did not have enough to eat. Now I do not know how I shall live." The Buddha comforted the Yaka, then turned to the woman and instructed, "Let the Yaka live in your house and feed her with the finest porridge." The woman obeyed, brought the Yaka home, gave her lodging on the central beam, and fed her with excellent porridge. When the season for threshing rice came, the threshing device moved up and down. The Yaka feared that it would strike her head, so she told her friend that she could no longer stay there and asked to move elsewhere. One after another, places were offered to the Yaka: the threshing hut, the well, the bakery, the manure shed, the ash heap, and the village gate. But she would not stay anywhere, constantly complaining. In one place, the threshing beam rose and fell, threatening to split her head. In another, children urinated. Elsewhere, dogs lay sprawled, or children defiled the place, or threw rubbish. In yet another, villagers came to tell fortunes. Therefore, the woman took the Yaka to a quiet place outside the village, and each day she brought her fine porridge to eat. One day, the Yaka said to her friend, "This year there will be abundant rain, therefore rice should be planted on higher, drier ground." At other times, the Yaka would say, "This year there will be drought, therefore rice should be planted on lower, more moist ground." While the rice crops of others were damaged, now by flooding, now by drought, the rice of the young woman yielded an abundant harvest. The villagers were astonished and came to ask her, "Sister, your rice is neither flooded nor parched. It seems you know the weather in advance when you farm. Is that so?" She replied, "I have a friend who is a yaka, who informs me beforehand of changes in the weather, and I plant rice on high ground or low ground according to her guidance. Do you not see that every day I bring fine porridge and various foods to her? If you do the same, you too will have a good harvest." The villagers immediately paid homage to the yaka. From that time onward, the yaka cared for the crops of everyone, received many gifts, and was honored by many people. The yaka thus established the custom of the 8-dish meal, which has been maintained down to the present day. This story doesn't end with revenge. It ends with a choice. Hatred doesn't disappear with time. It only changes shape. Every time we answer pain with pain, the cycle continues. But the moment someone chooses to let go, the cycle breaks. Letting go isn't weakness, it's freedom. And sometimes, the bravest thing you can do is to end the suffering with you. If this kind of reflection speaks to you, you're always welcome back here.